This is a Department of Hawaiian Homeland's Beneficiary Consultation meeting for land use requests we received for our lands in Wai anae on Oahu. Before we begin, I'd just like to invite what our Hawaiian Homes Commissioner from Oahu, Patty Taruya, to give us a quick opening pule.
Okay, hi. Aloha, can everyone hear me? Aloha kako. Mahalo Andrew and our DHHL staff for this beneficiary consultation. Mahalo for having me here tonight. Let us pray. Father God, we thank you today, Father God, and every day, the breath of life that you provide all of us in our moku in the state of Hawaii. We thank you for this meeting, Father God, that we may be able to share our projects along our moku of Wai anae. We speak with humbleness tonight. We listen with our ears. We ask the questions that we will doubt in our minds, that we work together as beneficiaries in our moku of Wai anae. We take the time, Father God, to thank our commissioners and our chair, Ayla, that his term in December, we thank him for his service. We thank the department for their service and the staff, Father God. With you, we can do everything, Father. We thank all our organizations in our moku for working so diligently and so hard for our beneficiaries and for our community of the Waianae Coast. We thank you, Father God. We honor you. We praise you. We give you thanksgiving. With all of this, we say, Father God, thank you. Amen. Amen. Mahalo, everyone.
Mahalo, Commissioner Taruya, for that wonderful pule. Aloha, everyone. Once again, welcome to our beneficiary consultation meeting on what land use requests we received for our lands in Wai anae. My name is Andrew Choi. I'm the Planning Program Manager at the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. With me tonight, I also have Julie Cachola, our Senior Planner at the department. And I believe, oh yes, I see him. And also our Chairman, William Ayla, is also joining us this evening.
Hello, everyone.
So I know that everyone is super busy with multiple things going on in their lives. So let's get started. I'm going to do a quick opening presentation just to give an overview of what we will be covering this evening. Okay, so the purpose of tonight's meeting is to collect DHHL beneficiary feedback on 3 separate proposed long-term requests to utilize department land by the following organizations that are based in the moku of Wai anae, or Ahupua'a Wai anae. Ka'ala Farms, Wai anae Valley Homestead Community Association, and the Wai anae Coast Comprehensive Health Center. So these are 3 separate requests by 3 separate organizations that the department has received. These are just general housekeeping notes. For those of you who frequently participate in our beneficiary consultation meetings, please bear with us. It's just a quick review for you. So if you are not talking, please keep your microphone on mute so that you can eliminate some unnecessary background noise like cutting grass or dogs barking. So that would be appreciated if you can keep your microphone on mute when you're not talking. There are 2 ways to participate in our conversation this evening. You can either type your questions or mana'o in the chat or raise your virtual hand, and I will do my best to call on you so that you can share your mana'o verbally. But if you're shy like me, feel free to share your mana'o in the chat, and we will make sure to go over that mana'o during the meeting so that participants can respond to any questions that you might have. Also, this meeting is being recorded. It will be posted on the department's website for record keeping, and also for those beneficiaries who might not have been able to attend tonight's meeting, it'll also provide an opportunity to view the information and also an opportunity for them to ask questions of the department or the organizations outside of the meeting via email, and we will try to address those questions and comments. I'll go over more of that during the ending part of the meeting on when we go over next steps. At this time, if you don't mind signing into the chat, your first and last name, where you live, if you are a DHHL applicant on the wait list, a lessee, or other. This is a beneficiary consultation meeting, so it helps us keep track of who attended the meeting and how many waitlist applicants or lessees attended the meeting. This is everyone's kuleana during the meeting. Please be respectful of the people talking. Please do not interrupt the person that is talking. Wait for the facilitator, tonight that will be me, to call on you or type your question into the chat box. When addressing other participants, either verbally or in the chat box, please be respectful, show aloha, and treat others how you would like to be treated. Let's also remember we can agree to disagree and accept that others might have different perspectives and opinions than you. Please have an open mind. Please take home new ideas or information. So this goes for both beneficiaries and department staff, that we try to make sure that we leave each meeting with new ideas or new information that we hear. This is a quick summary of the department's beneficiary consultation policy. Beneficiary consultation is required for 4 types of proposals that require commission approval. So tonight, we are hearing, we're doing consultation because we received long-term requests for use of department lands for non-homesteading use. So this is why we are conducting a beneficiary consultation tonight. Tonight's agenda. So I just completed most of the welcome and introductions. We will next be going into presentations by each of the 3 organizations. After each presentation, we will provide an opportunity for beneficiaries to provide mana'o or ask questions on the presentation. So about 10 minutes for the presenter, and then about 20 minutes for beneficiaries to ask questions. And then we will move on to the next presenter and repeat that pattern. And then lastly, we will wrap up with next steps and go over how you can participate or send in your comments after this meeting if you think of any other mana'o or have any other questions following tonight's meeting. So once again, the purpose of tonight's meeting is to collect beneficiary feedback on 3 separate proposed long-term requests to utilize department land by Ka'ala Farms, Wai anae Valley Homestead Community Association, and the Wai anae Coast Comprehensive Health Center. This map just kind of gives a quick overview of where the requests for land are located in Wai anae. So over here is our existing Wai anae residential homestead lots. Over here is Wai anae Mall. This is where the Wai anae Comprehensive Health Center is located. So these areas in pink are where each of the respective organizations are requesting land from the department. This map also kind of gives you an overview of the entire ahupua'a. And one of the reasons why we decided to have multiple requests in the same meeting is to look at these requests, not just individually, but cumulatively, so that we can get a bigger, fuller image of what these requests look like in the context of the larger region. So with that, I'd like to hand over the virtual mic to Ka'ala Farms. I'll hand it over to Eric, and Eric, you can introduce your team.
Well, aloha mai everyone on the call, and the commissioner and Chairman Aila and all our Kokua community members that we're all working together. I'm Eric Enos. I'm Executive Director for Ka'ala Farm. With me is Kalika Bennett, and maybe Kalika can just give a little background on who he is and what he does.
Well, aloha mai kako. My name is Kilika Bennett, and I'm a part of the Ohana staff at Kaala Farm. And in addition to doing some of the admin at Kaala Farm, my background is in Hawaiian language and in Hawaiian language research. And so a whole lot of what I get to do at Kaala Farms is to research through Hawaiian language source materials so that we can feed our cultural programming up at the Learning Center with that information. Aloha.
Mahalo, Kilika. Also on the call is Gabby Sham from Townscape. Townscape is a planning company we've been working with for a long time. They're really community-based planners, and they've been doing a lot of work in the Wai anae Moku. So Gabby, you see you on the line and just say hello. Yeah.
Aloha. Thank you everyone for joining. We've been mostly providing technical assistance to Uncle Eric and Kaala Farm over the past, 10, 20 years. But thank you all for joining in on this meeting.
Yeah, okay, mahalo, yeah. So our request is to getting a long-term lease. What we have now is a license agreement for 25 years that's going to end in 2033. And as you can see, the Cultural Learning Center is located in the back of Wai anae Kai. And this photo gives you kind of a broad overview. It's 97 acres. And most of it is all cultural sites. Well, it is all cultural sites. This place is, according to Dr. Ross Cordy, the whole entire back of the valley is the best preserved cultural sites intact on Oahu. In other words, it hasn't been touched by bulldozers. It's all intact, and so that's why our restoration of the valley itself. Yeah, and key to that has been water, bringing down water. We brought down water in 1978. We established water rights. And we did, it's a long process, and it was challenged when we brought the water down. After we asked for permission, the state said no, and we went ahead and challenged that, and then it was, our water then was established under the Council of Water Resource Management with the LNR. So Kaala set precedent for water rights and water usages for community, and that's the water that we have today. Yeah, the history of this land goes back to model cities. This goes back to the late 1960s and the model cities. This land was in ranching. The entire back of the valley was in ranching, and a rancher had this 97 acres, and there was another rancher on the other side of the valley. So the whole back of the valley was in ranching. Prior to that, sugar was taking all the water out, and they were using it. They were tapping all. That's why the valley was dry. When we got it into the valley in the early 1970s with the Wai anae Rap Center. That was where I was with the Wai anae Rap Center. I was working with alienated youth, and they said that the land was transferred to the community. The rancher lost the lease. It was transferred to the community, and they told us to go up into the valley and take the kids camping. We went up into the valley, and we had to start to get rid of all the rubbish that was in that valley, and that the valley was bone dry, no water. And we also discovered that there were a lot of terraces. So we started with the youth, started clearing the terraces, but we needed water. And that's when we went and established the water rights. Till today, Kaala has a good source of water. And like I said, we set the precedent for communities to go back into the valleys and minimum stream flow standard so that we can use for cultural practices. So Kaala set that precedent along with the Waihole people that we supported and the water rights. So that is a part of our story.
Can you go to the next slide?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. The next slide. Yeah. So here's our mission: reclaim and preserve the living culture, and everybody can see that, yeah, between the land which nourishes up in all forms of life. Now, at that time when we were up in the valley, it was state leased land, and but it got transferred under when Ho'aliku Drake was the head of the department. At that time, she basically sued because of the mismanagement of Hawaiian homelands. Yeah, and at that time, I met with the commissioners, and we says, hey, here's this land, you guys, and we all agreed at that time it's better to put the land from state lease into Hawaiian homelands so that it stays in Hawaiian hands. Yeah. So we're a part of that process too. And then that license agreement then carried over till we have today.
Next slide.
Sure. Next slide, sorry. Well, we've been a cultural kipuka since 1976 and even earlier, like I said, so we've been restoring the land and bringing families up, restoring the lo'i. We started to work with a lot of different families. And we've been able to, after we brought down the water, we've also started providing the land for people in the community, the homesteaders, to go up there and learn how to use raw land like ka'ala, because there's no electricity, there's no city water. And so we had to, transfer that land from raw land. And like I said, that Wai anae, that the end of the road is also where there's a lot of illegal dumping, illegal activities. So we were part of the process to clean the valley up, working with the community. And we have a lot of homesteaders that are using lo'i and that are taking advantage of the land. And we've opened it up to families, especially the homestead families. We have a number of homestead families up there that are farming kalo. And we are opening it up. We have opened it. We have opened it up to other homestead families to go up there and learn how to plant. And so that's been our, but I wondered if Kilika can give us a little bit of the amount and numbers of families that we have been serving.
Okay, so at Ka'ala Farms, we offer several opportunities for people to come up and access the farm. And one of the main ways that we do that is through our group visits. And during our group visits, basically a requesting group is able to come up and we welcome them up to the farm with traditional protocol. And then we help them to establish a cultural foundation of Hawaiian values and then a history of the Wai anae moku. And then also allow them to come up and participate in malama activities, and then even some cultural activities like lauhala weaving or kapa making. And so really helping people to establish a cultural foundation in that. Over each year, we serve about 3,000 people at the farm. Over half of them are Native Hawaiians, and about, I would say a third of them are from Hawaiian homesteads. In addition to our group visits, we also have our youth programs, our youth internship programs. And so our youth internship programs usually happen over the summer, and they're offered to youth from the Wai anae coast who are interested in reconnecting to Hawaiian culture throughout the summer. And basically at the end of the summer, after connecting to Hawaiian culture through our cultural programming, they have to complete some sort of service project, and so give back to the community in some way that they've been able to devise, informed by that cultural foundation. And so many of the students who come up are Native Hawaiian and are also homesteaders too. In addition to the youth programs, Ka'ala Farm also participates in grab and goes. So up at the farm, we have ulu trees that we farm, we have kalo that we farm, and a whole lot of the crops, the food crops that we farm up at the learning center, we're able to take to distribution centers. And many of the places that we distribute to are actually the homesteads. And so in that way, we've been trying to connect what's going up at the farm to what's happening so that it benefits homestead beneficiaries. And then I'll toss it back to you.
Okay, yeah. Part of the grab and goes is also funded by OHA and places like that help us, yeah, because Ka'ala has to raise revenues to keep its staff and the work to keep just to maintain the facilities, because it's so rocky and you can't use any mechanization. It's so we have to, everything is by hand. And that's what saved the valley from being bulldozed, is that modern agriculture said it wasn't, the land was poor quality because it was so rocky, but that's what saved us from being bulldozed. And when we distribute the food in the communities, it's not just a handout food, it's an opportunity to educate. Everything we hand out, it has a story, mo'olelo, its uses, different recipes. And also there's an opportunity when we do hand out these products, we invited for a La Ohana families to come up and learn activities at Ka'ala, learn how to plant kalo. They can go home, learn dryland kalo methods. We have our nurseries for trees. We're establishing agroforestry with these lands on both sides of the valley, planting plants for food, medicine, shelter, and those are all the kinds of activities that we've been working with. Also working with different kinds of cultural tours, different models of that, because there's a lot of groups that do come up to Ka'ala, international groups that want to learn. And so we're trying to figure out how you do a different kind of high-end tourism to a place that is a genuine learning place, and then the community then shares. And so it's one way to fund the work that we're doing.
The next slide.
Yeah, next slide. Here you see the Ka'ala, and this is a whole. And then what's interesting is that on the left-hand side, you see the Wai anae Ranch, and that's 1,100 acres. So Ka'ala has actually, we're managing that portion of land also. And what's that important? It's land that can be utilized by the community, that 1,100 acres. And we're going to be using it for fire remediation project, because as you know, Wai anae is 9 months, no rain. So we're raising sheep, and because along the Wai anae Valley Road is the hottest spot in the entire state in terms of wildfires. And so we had a grant in aid that allows us to train people to put in fencing and to put in sheep. Animal husbandry is one of the things we're offering to our families, to learn how to take sheep. And if you look at a lot of lands that are adjacent to it's the urban interface, and so using sheep and raising sheep. So we started that program, and then families then trying to work like 4-H programs into the schools so that people can learn to use these animals. What's good about sheep is that they're easy to work with, and they'll eat the grass, and then in turn that we can then eat the sheep. So these are many different ways that we're trying to manage the back of the resources of Wai anae Kai.
And next slide.
Well, here's the work that we've been doing. So Klika, do you want to talk about what we're doing?
So we kind of touched on a whole lot of these points. So our youth programs with service, Wai anae Youth, and then our cultural visits where people can come up and experience the farm. But in addition to that, we also have monthly La Ohana work days where families can come up and work together as an ohana around cultural activities like lauhala weaving or kapa making, or even just learning how to establish a mala in their own backyard. And then we also offer opportunities for people to come up and volunteer. So if they want to work off community service hours, many of us who are Native Hawaiians who go to school, go to college, we have scholarships that we can apply for, but it requires that we complete several hours of community service by benefiting a Native Hawaiian organization. And so we offer that opportunity for Native Hawaiian youth who are going to college to work off their community service hours at the Learning Center. And we sort of already touched on the grab and goes, the produce that is fed into the community to benefit beneficiaries and the broader Wai anae community. And then did you want to mention the board?
Sure, yeah. Ka'ala belongs to the community. And so we have one member who's from the Wai anae Hawaiian Civic, Wai anae Homestead Association. He's on the call. And we also have a position that we have earmarked for Wai anae Valley Homestead Association to be a member of Ka'ala Farms board. The reason for that is that we eventually, it needs to be the management of these Hawaiian lands need to be by Native Hawaiians, and that allows then that the Homestead Association to be part of what is the future of Ka'ala. And so that's why when we get into what is the future of Ka'ala, the thing is, if we can get the lease, then we're ability to leverage resources with a license agreement that doesn't allow us.
So next slide.
Sure, yeah.
Next slide.
We were invited to go and take to the Kona DHHL properties and looking at what they were doing and that model for Reinvestment Act. So getting the lease, and here you'll see a concept plan that was done by Townscape. You'll see the left-hand side is all traditional, the lo'i, and that is the what we want to maintain is walking into the past. And even below that, we have a Native Hawaiian dryland forest. On the right-hand side is where we're going to be looking at the future. We're working on small microgrid. In fact, one of the projects that are going to be working with the Wai anae Valley Homestead Association is a community-based renewable energy project, but we're also helping us to looking at setting up a microgrid and a field kitchens in the back on the right-hand side, you'll see. And all the land below is land that could be farmed. And with the microgrid, we're going to be setting up these field kitchens with walk-in using solar energy and even water, alternative energy, so that we can establish a field kitchen, a small cafe, and then we can teach people how to cook, how to utilize and water purification units. So that's all going to be run by a microgrid. But this allows then, it becomes a school. If you look at Ka'ala, one of the goals is that it's a place of learning, to learn how to take from raw land to table and Hawaiian style. And using all the benefits of modern technology, like we said, solar energy, and building small animal husbandry systems, and then using that skills and transferring it, because there's a lot of raw land that is Hawaiian land or crown land that could be utilized, but you need those skills. So that's a place that Ka'ala then becomes a place of learning to apply that. So it's a school for to transfer and learning how to apply those skills on the land itself. So that kind of sort of sums it up, unless you know, and also I also we work with Ho'omaokeola substance abuse program and men and women in treatment, because there's so many of our people. So we've been working with Ho'omaokeola for the past 25 years when they were Hawaii Addiction Center. So they come up every week, these clients, and so we've been working with thousands of men and women from the streets who are in addiction, and this is their connection to a higher authority. And just talking to people, for the many people that have come through Ka'ala, they've always said that this was a place that they spiritually connect to a higher power and to their culture. Almost all people in addiction have been Native Hawaiians, and that has been one of the tragedies. And it's a way for them, and they come from the streets, never had the opportunity. So we've been working with that group. So that kind of sums it up.
So our next slide is our last slide, but it's basically a mahalo slide. If there's any points that we sort of skipped over that you guys have any questions on, I guess now is the time for anybody to ask.
Mahalo, Eric, and your team for your presentation. At this time, we wanted to open it up to beneficiaries to ask questions or comments. Once again, you can either ask a question or comment by raising your virtual hand, and I will call on you, or you can type your question or comment in the chat, and we will recognize your input that way.
Ipo has a question.
Okay, thanks, Julie. Ipo, please ask your question.
Hi, aloha no. I'm Ipo Akiona, a beneficiary here in the Wai anae Valley. Okay, Eric, I am so in love with everything that Ka'ala Farm has done up until this time. My family go out, they go into the lo'i, they help clean up the area, and it's just awesome. But I do have a concern. I was informed that there will be not only microgrids, but the Kaala farms were donated solar panels. So I get it, renewable energy, I understand. But if you're going up North Cloud Road and you're going towards the mountain, all I saw was sheet metal all across the mountain. Is that what we're expecting on our beautiful mountain, or will it be contained somewhere else to just power that little entity that you guys are trying to do? I just had a question about that.
Yeah, what you're talking about is big solar farms, and that's not what we're gonna be doing. When we're using those panels, we're gonna be small microgrid units, meaning that it's just a few panels, just enough to power up, so we're not creating a solar farm itself. In fact, they wanted to put some solar farms, and we were against it because, just putting acres and acres and acres is not the kind of thing that we want. And we have the same concerns about converting an area to a solar farm. So our microgrid, when we talk about microgrid, is just small panels. It's like the stuff you put on top of your house, on top of your roof. Yeah, that's more like what it is. So in other words, it's incorporated into your existing structure or some small little areas. So I don't know if that answers your question.
It does. I appreciate you answering my question. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Charlotte has a question. Do you want to ask it or you want me to read it, Sean?
You can read it.
So for the microgrid setup, how big of a project or system are you looking at to support the microgrid field kitchen use? Are you open to different generating system technologies that would not be solar PV panel based?
Yes, actually, Kaala has we're bringing down the water from about 600 feet elevation, and by the time it hits Kaala, it's about 400 feet elevation. We have about 125 pounds per square inch of pressure. So we're working on some small hydroelectric units that could power up, and that the unit is about the size of a backpack. It's really small. And because the energy that we're going to be using is a combination of it'll have to be put into some batteries, and the current kinds of, when you're using hydroelectric or solar, you have to store that energy also. So we are exploring different small, that's why it's called micro, small little units that we can tie in, and it's it doesn't affect the landscape. In fact, we were the ones that stopped the windmill project on the side of Kahe, because we just having the whole side of the mountains, we think smaller units can be incorporated into existing structures. And I think that's what you hear with the next testimony, is how can we utilize small microgrids to power up some of our so I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, you have a lot of support, and hydro would be great. And Kika is saying that it would be awesome if hydro could be integrated into the Hawaii system. But Lori also commented awesome work that California is doing.
Just wanted to point out that we started questions and discussions at 7:30, so we have up to 7:50 to field additional questions. I see the hand up from Valerie. Valerie, why don't you go ahead and unmute yourself?
Aloha kako. Not really a question, but just a mahalo to Eric. I don't know, several years ago, maybe as far as 2020, 2001, I had the opportunity to meet Eric, and at that time, through Dalani, learning Kappa and teaching Kappa with my fourth graders at Nana Kuli Elementary School. And then as I worked along the coast at different schools, had the opportunity to bring students to Kaala Farm, learning the culture, learning oli, learning mo'olelo, students getting into the lo'i, looking at dry land. And then just last year, I think it was, Eric, when I had the opportunity with the students from Kamaile to go up and actually take a look at this microgrid and the hydro water systems that's so far up into the Mauna, and all of that, the work that went into bringing the water down to an area that could be used is such great work. Our students had the opportunity to eat in the area. I guess that's the field kitchen that was and still is under construction. So I truly enjoy the thoughtfulness of Eric and his people at Ka'ala Farm in trying to continue the culture while looking at how technology can support culture in a way where we can still respect our culture and our land, because without our land, we are nothing. And so I just wanted to mahalo Eric and all the people that are working with him. I know at times it's very trying to move forward with the thing that is in our heart. But if we don't have organizations like Ka'ala Farm, what would we have? Yeah, they have the mana'o, they have people with aloha that want to share their mana'o too, and work with all of our people of our moku. So I just want to mahalo Eric. Thank you.
Mahalo. Charlotte was adding that she would love to have further discussion with you offline on the project, Eric. But as you consider storage, please go beyond the lithium ion, especially due to the high heat and wildfire threats.
Mahalo. Mahalo nui. Yeah, I just want to say that, we stand on the shoulders of our kupuna. So everything we did, we have to give credit to those that came before us. And we have a long list of kupuna, and there's so many that have come from the Moku of Wai anae. I mean, I have long lists, and they were with us many years, and then those that came before us. So, nothing we do alone. It takes a healthy village to raise a healthy child, and that healthy child then grows up to raise healthy villages. So mahalo nui.
Aloha Kapua, I see your hand up.
Aloha, Eric. Aloha, Kako. Eric, I just wanted to thank you and everybody that you have worked with and everybody that came before you, for those of us today and for those of us to come. Your dedication, your commitment is just so, it's so vibing. So we just mahalo nui you and your staff.
Mahalo.
Other mana'o, other questions from folks? If not, last call. If not, we can move on. I just want to mahalo Eric and Ka'ala Farms and your staff once again for taking the time to participate in the consultation process. But we will, if there are no other comments or questions for Ka'ala Farms at this time, we will move on to the next presenter.
Oh, there was one question that just came in. Is there
Oh,
is there any possibility of someone living up there?
I'll take that one. Ka'ala Farms is looking for a general lease from the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. Because it's a general lease, there can be no long-term 24/7 residency up there. If there were, it would be inappropriate because we have 28,000 folks on the waiting list waiting for a homestead. So because it is a non-homestead use of Hawaiian Homelands, there can be no permanent occupancy or 24/7 occupancy of the site. Any other questions? That was a good question. Any other questions? If not, then I will turn it over to the Wai anae Valley Homestead Community Association. And I'll let you folks introduce your team members.
Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me? Aloha, community.
Yes, we can hear you. Aloha.
All right. Aloha and good evening, everyone. Aloha, Chair. Aloha to our commissioner, our beneficiaries, and our constituents, and of course, our community members. My name is Josiah Jury, and I am the president of the Wai anae Valley Homestead Community Association. We appreciate, again, you guys being here this evening. This evening, we'd like to mahalo the department one more time for the opportunity to share this space amongst everyone. We are here tonight on behalf of our association and to the commission, and for the right of entry, we are requesting to an industrial zone placed in the location in Wai anae. The location is 86220 Farrington Highway. The purpose of this right of entry is to allow for a due diligence as we work in collaboration with the Wai anae Sustainable Co-op, a solar for the people grassroots effort organization that will directly impact homesteaders with monthly discounts on their electric bills, and also working with the West Oahu Funeral Service, a crematory service that will offer our community another alternative to their final end and life arrangements. Well, at this time, I'd like to introduce Auntie Kapua Keli'ikoa Kamai of the Wai anae Sustainable Co-op. Auntie Kapua will give some insights on the wonderful opportunities they are directly affording our beneficiaries here in the homestead. The co-op has initiated over 18 homestead community meetings and continues to engage our community throughout the whole process. Auntie Kapua, you want to share?
Mahalo, Josiah. Aloha mai, Commissioner Teruya, Chair Ayla, and other beneficiaries. Oau kapua Keli'ikoa Kamai. I'm a Lahui and Wai anae community advocate, a lessee and active Wai anae Valley Homestead member. I'm also the president of the Wai anae Sustainability Cooperative. I'm glad to be here with you tonight. Next, here's a few snapshots as it's taken numerous community meetings, workshops, and connections to get to this point. Mahalo to Lori, Todd, and Christopher of Ho'ahu Moloka'i, to Teresa of the Kohala Center, to Lucy of LCC Wai anae, to Poka of Lualua Lei, and to Eric of Ka'ala Farms for being our guiding deacons. And to Lauren, Wayne, and Marty, our Sierra Club friends, and especially to Ali, Ikaika, Kea'a, Sebastian, and other Shake Energy Collaborative staff members. Not to forget our co-op board members and everyone else that joined us, like Cynthia, Roland, and James. Next. These are the reasons we chose to be a cooperative. We are a locally planned, designed, managed, and owned cooperative that chose to hire local and support local hire practices. Next, this is our co-op mission. This is a pilot project that was created by and for our Wai anae community members that everyone can afford. Next. Mahalo to Kula Papakolea for our 2021 Homestead Health Survey. With recent health events and escalating inflationary costs, our co-op subscribers can redirect their energy savings elsewhere. Next, we're starting with, this is our energy system, and we anticipate a 15% of savings. So if your electric bill were $200, you'd be saving $30 that month and save hundreds of dollars annually. Next. This is our energy system. Oh, excuse me. Next and next. I'm sorry. Our final slide is an aerial photo of our proposed 730 panels on the existing buildings and proposed carports, providing up to 250 kilowatts of energy for our 70 to 80 homes. Our co-op, along with the West Oahu Funeral Service and the Wai anae Valley Homestead Community Association, will work collectively to serve our 96792 beneficiaries and community. We're providing energy affordability, energy justice, and energy sovereignty. We ask for your support. Mahalo.
Awesome, Auntie. Mahalo, Auntie Kapua. Thank you for sharing the Wai anae Sustainable Co-ops plans for our community. Up next, I'd like to introduce Auntie Lori Buchanan of the West Oahu Funeral Services. Auntie Lori and her husband Moku currently owns and operates a full-service mortuary on the island of Molokai within their community. She brings her expertise of over 30 years to the table. It is our hope that families needing these services now have the option of choosing a Hawaiian-owned business for their final arrangements. Auntie Lori's daughter is also a resident of our very own Wai anae Valley Homestead and will be a part of running the crematorium here. With her expertise, Auntie Lori has done her due diligence in ensuring getting all clearances and permits she will need for the best practice management for her crematorium. Auntie Lori?
Hey, aloha, Josiah, and mahalo to the West Oahu community. My name is Lori Buchanan. Pictured here is my husband, Moku Buchanan, my son, Makana Buchanan, our business partner, Darren Suchia, my daughter, Lealoha, and her husband, Harry Asidillo, who are residents of Wai anae Valley Homestead, and together we will be operating West Oahu Funeral Services. Next slide. This is just a picture of the current area, and these images of the site structures. As you can see, it is in disrepair and is in need of substantial improvement. Next slide. This is a picture of the cremation unit. The photo on the left gives you a dissected interior view of the cremation unit and its stack and how it may look, because you won't be able to view this from the public. The photo on the right is of the actual cremation unit with the dimensions and specs above. Next slide. Really quickly, some benefits and services. There are several benefits and services that a funeral service could provide to the West Oahu community. While we are locally owned and operated business who will support our community. Our ohana has been caring for Iwi Kupuna for over 40 years. There is no funeral service provider in West Oahu. I'm sure all of you know that you have to go to the nearest one, which is in Mililani. And so that is a big, proximity is a big benefit for West Oahu. Expansion. I just wanted for a minute to bring some thought to the funeral industry. So expansion, while the immediate proposed project would be to erect a crematory, we can expand services beyond cremation to full service mortuary to include the preparation of deceased and burials. Community economic opportunity. There would be several opportunities for the community for economic development that support the funeral industry. And then some examples, and I get excited because I can go on and on and on, would be just simple stuff like the venue. Think about when, it is a collective ohana event when somebody hala. And so, the venue, what about the food, flowers, tables, chairs? We need staff. What about caskets, urns? What about a cemetery? What about a pu'uhonua? There's so many other aspects because it's such a big part of our life. When we hala, it's a big part of our life. So I know I only had 2 minutes and I get excited talking about this because even hearing what Uncle Eric had said earlier and what I see being proposed from the comp is really a holistic view for us as Hawaiians in our life. So thank you very much for this time. Mahalo.
Thank you, Auntie. Mahalo, Auntie Kapua from the Wai anae Sustainable Co-op, and of course, Auntie Lori with the West Oahu Funeral Services. At this time, we'd also like to thank the Department of Hawaiian Homelands, their staff, Shake Energy, CBRE, and of course, our great community here. We would also like to thank Kula Papakolea for their kokua with our community health survey. At this time, the Wai anae Valley Homestead Community Association would like to take this opportunity to enlighten everyone here with our plans for what we see in this parcel. Our collaboration with the Wai anae Sustainable Co-op and the West Oahu Funeral Services is just a fraction of what our association can do for this community. Referencing our health survey done in 2021, there are many issues to address, from health ailments that include mental health, as well as current and continued education, cultural education and practices, financial hardship, multi-generational living conditions, and community impacts, just to name a few. As you can see, lowering the cost of living within our community is a great need. We'd like to use the parcel as a home base for resources that are available for our community as a go-to resource center. Future plans could and may also include a village center, such as in Nanakuli, to support small local businesses and in turn build local economical support directly for and into our own communities. The right of entry will allow our association to work in a relationship between the department, our collaborators, and our community. It will allow us to do our due diligence. So we just like to mahalo everyone for your time and allowing us this chance to bring this before our board, our chair, our commission, and of course, our community. Thank you.
Mahalo nui, Josiah, and to the members of your association for that excellent presentation. At this time, we just wanted to open it up to questions or comments from those attending our meeting. So yeah, this is an opportunity for beneficiaries to ask questions or make comments.
Here's a question. Aloha and mahalo. My ohana has been in a similar industry: marble, granite, bronze headstones, monuments, memorials, vases, and urns. And I'm happy that this aspect of our lives is being talked about and planned for our own moku. I had a question about the base load of power the crematory requires.
Good question.
Mahalo, Shah. I think Lori gonna jump in there.
I can. I'm not sure what she means by the base load of power, but the source of power that we're looking at, because if you go, we don't need to go back to the slide, which had the specs on top, but we're primarily looking at propane as the base load of the power. And so there's other sources, but we're looking, directly at propane being the source of the power.
Okay, maybe you can get back to Shar about how much power it requires. Actually, she's saying how much power does that that machine require?
Thank you for that question. Any other questions or comments? I see Nolan's hand up. Nolan, why don't you go ahead and unmute and ask your question?
Okay, my question is, he's saying for the solar project in the Wai anae Valley Homestead community. So does every house in the community get the break, I guess?
Mahalo for the question, Nolan. I'm sorry, are you done?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this is a small project. We're only generating about 250 kilowatts of energy. And based on our information, that can support up to 70 to 80 homes. So those of us that don't have solar on our rooftop yet, this is something that we could consider. Especially if we know that we have some repairs that might be necessary. So there would be an upfront cost. By doing this particular, by allowing us to provide you a service, you are able to receive a discount without any changes to your home structure as it is.
So basically, if you get solar, you qualify, or who's the one who gets to be, I guess, qualified or picked to receive the benefit?
Process. Okay, thank you again. So yes, we do have a subscription application that will be available as we get closer to that. There will be a vetting policy. First off, we will be serving our Wai anae Valley Homestead beneficiaries. We'll be looking to those individuals that do not have any solar, to those individuals that have a disproportionate amount of their income going towards their energy expenses, which is also usually families with large families, multiple generational. We're looking to help those people that are maybe of lower to middle income. So there are a variety of criteria that we'll be looking for the applicants. So, you're welcome to contact us at wvhcbre@gmail.com. It was also on the last slide. If you have any further questions.
Okay, sounds good. Thank
Mahalo,
you.
Nolan.
Mahalo.
Thank you, Nolan.
Mahalo, Nolan, for those excellent questions. Any other questions, comments? Oh, go ahead,
Can you-
Julie.
Can you make the email, put the email in that chat? So, oh, there we go. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just for clarification, if you folks want more information about how to sign up or how to communicate with the project team, the email is in the chat, wvhcbre@gmail.com. Oh, just a note of time, we started the discussion at 7:50, so we have about 13 more minutes to ask any questions or make comments. Kapua, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted to expand. As I stated in our presentation, this is a pilot project. It is our desire to serve more of our beneficiaries, especially those beneficiaries that are on the wait list. So, but that would be a larger project, and we want to show the success of this small project first. So we ask for your support.
Okay, thank you for that, Kapua. Any other questions, comments? Julie, anything in the chat?
No, but Lori also gave her contact information if anybody has questions for her who wants to talk to her.
On the crematory
Mhm.
part of the project, okay. Just wanted to encourage people to make any comments or questions. Now is the most opportune time early on in the process to ask questions, make comments, any mana'o, any suggestions. Okay, go ahead.
Andrew, I don't know if my comment is due right now or during the time of our commission meeting, but I think I will have different comments on the crematorial proposal. Yeah. And so that is very striking that this proposal is being proposed on a ROE right away with the homestead. But I do have several concerns that I think I will personally question her on the crematorial proposed plans for that site. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mahalo, Commissioner.
Go ahead, Mayor.
Lucana has a question.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Lokana.
Aloha, this is Lokana. I've just got a comment to make. As far as the crematorium, this was in line with one of our visions that we've had for quite a while, and that is for our columbarium. our columbarium to have here on the homestead, as a lot of us are raised, usually we're born here, and we're going to hala here. So this crematorium aligns with another project, priority project that we have in mind. So I'm just saying, and I think we're looking into other uses of, maybe the emissions of the crematorium, what that can be used as well. So there's other things that this crematorium will be able to do to help us to gain economic development as well. These are things that we are still exploring, but we know that they exist. Using energy from this to do something else. Those are things that we're looking to as well. Our president, Josiah, had mentioned these are just pilot projects that we're going to branch out into other things. But I just want you to know that this crematorium is aligned with our columbarium that we've had on our hearts for quite a while, and I believe it's in the regional plan as well. Thank you.
We have a comment in the chat. I read all of the proposal and have no objections, but aloha for moving the Hawaiian culture forward.
Mahalo for your comment. Again, just wanted to encourage folks to ask questions or share their mana'o on these proposals. Okay, if there are no other questions or comments on Waianae Valley Homestead Community Association's land use request at this time, we're going to move on to our last presenter of the evening. Let me bring up my PowerPoint real fast. Okay, so I'd like to call on Joyce O'Brien from the Waianae Coast Comprehensive Health Center, and she will introduce her team and give a presentation on their land use request from DHHL.
Mahalo, Andrew. Aloha beneficiaries, Commissioner Teruya, Chair Ayla, and the Department of Hawaiian Homeland staff. My name is Joyce O'Brien, and I am the Executive Vice President at the center, and I've been here for 32 years. We're honored to share our proposal and ask for your partnership for a long-term lease to, one, continue expansion of our teaching health center and training to create jobs, to grow our Native Hawaiian activities to perpetuate our culture, to expand our social services, to support system, and to develop a food campus to address food security. Next page, please. I just wanted to show the overall planning that we've been doing, just as a side note. The Department of Hawaiian Homeland property we're looking at for our programs is on the far right, but we're also focusing on developing with the YMCA a swimming pool and walking trails between our sites. We're also working planning with the sewage treatment plant to filter water that can be used for our landscaping, and then to support programs with for kupuna and workforce housing. So just wanted to lay that. Next, please, Andrew. Okay, a little bit about us. Our founders were truly visionaries, and they defined over 50 years ago that our isolation on the coast, we really need to take care of ourselves by developing comprehensive services. Our board has committed to that vision, and we're very proud to celebrate our 50th anniversary this year, and our proposal tonight is part of planning for the next 50. Next page. We opened our first clinic in Waianae in 1972, and today we have 12 clinics. 9 throughout the Wai anae Coast, with 4 clinics being within our schools in Wai anae and Nanakuli. We also have clinics in Kapolei, Waipahu, and Eva. Next page. Of the 34,000 patients that we serve annually, 63% live on the Wai anae Coast, and 49% of our patients are Native Hawaiian. 70% of our patients are covered under Medicaid, Quest, or Medicare, and it's important for us to be that safety net for our community. Next page. We are at a very strong 600 employees, with 58% of us living on the Wai anae Coast and 45% being Native Hawaiian. Our board of directors, 60% are Native Hawaiian and 5 are homestead residents. And all of our board members live or have a relationship to our service area. Next page, please. Our 3 presenters have nurtured the foundation of health and community wellness over the years at the center, and they will be the ones to take us into the next 50 years, partnering with all of you to fulfill the vision of our founders. Presenting tonight will be Dr. Kyle Kaliko Chang, a psychologist at the Health Center and director of Ha'olapa, who will present on our Teaching Health Center and our Hawaiian Cultural Center Museum. Leina Ala Kanana is our Director of Community Health Services, who will present on social services, the support system for that. And Alicia Higa is our Director of Health Promotion, who will present on the importance of a food campus. Next page, please. And Kaliko will start presenting.
Okay. Aloha mai kākou. Mahalo for having us here at your meeting this evening. I'm so excited to present what we have been doing and the vision for the next 50 years. We're so happy to have been serving the community for 50 years. Mahalo to all the founders and all the doctors and all the staff over the 50 years to get us to this point. And we're looking beyond that, the next generation, and preparing the groundwork as our founders have before. And so we want to mahalo our Kupuna Council and our admin and board for really supporting the cultural aspect in everything that we do at the Health Center. And so we are looking at, well, we have developed a cultural program, a Hawaiian Cultural Center, to share Hawaiian cultural practices and also Hawaiian healing, and to share that with our staff and our community, including our patients. And so we did a needs assessment, and one of our Masters in Public Health students interviewed our patients, our community, and our providers, and they shared that they would like to know more about their roots and their cultural practices, and to have that available in the community. And we mahalo Uncle Eric for having done that for many, many, many years. And so at the center, we have been sharing the cultural practices to our community, our patients, but also we are a training center, a teaching health center. So we do have a medical school here, AT Steels, who they come here the second, third, fourth year. First year is in Arizona, and we provide the culture training for them. So when they come here, they know the patients that they work with, and that is very important. Also, we have nurse practitioner residents who have become licensed as a nurse practitioner, but come here for 1 year for their residency program. And we provide the training program for them, the cultural training, also psychology, and also other medical residents from around the state. So for this, the past 4 weeks, we've been having the Hilo medical residents spend some time here for a week and provide that cultural training that is valuable in working with the community that they work in Hilo. So if you can change it to the next slide. So here are our nurse practitioners who they spent a year with us And in the beginning, of course, we provide the tour. And I remember in 1992, when I started here at the health center, we went up to Ka'ala Farms and we took we traveled the whole coast to know where our patients come from. And at that time, there was the Makua community there that we helped with. And the health center didn't have that program for a while. And so we brought that back. And so all those students and providers who come here, we thought that was important to provide that culture training. And so they start off with their program. And by the end, we teach them how to gather the kukui nuts and they make their own dye to make their kihei. So at the very end, when they uniki or graduate, they have prepared their kihei. We share a little bit about Hawaiian healing so that when patients that they see, they are using la'au lapa'au or Hawaiian healing, that they understand, they not necessarily know how to do it, but they have the understanding of, yes, our patients, they may use mamaki or different la'au, and just to be aware of it, to have a dialogue, because that is important. Because if they're diabetic, they're drinking mamaki tea, they're taking their medication and they don't eat, of course, their blood sugar is going to go low. So we just, we share about those things with them. Next slide, please. So we do have AT Steels that we help to train, also the behavioral health program, medical residents, medical assistants, and other training students who come throughout the state. So this is a graduation of the medical students that they were here for 3 years, and this is the end of their 3rd year, and so they become the uniki, they graduate, and then they go off to residency. Next slide, please. So ha'olapa, we were blessed with this by the kupuna, and so of course ha'ola, the breath of life that heals, and this is a place where people will come to exchange their ha, either through oli, through chant, through kuka kuka, to talking, and sharing of their cultural practices. And so we want to ensure that we preserve, perpetuate, but not only that, but a place to practice. And so we have, over the past 4 years, provided about 5,000 encounters, those who came to Ha'ola to participate in these cultural activities, either if it's protocol, cultural classes, or cultural training. Next slide, please. And so these are just some of our classes that we put on, and we mahalo the Kalani Huakaha Community Learning Center, where we have our classes on the Thursdays with Mahina and Cheryl, Ulana Lauhala, and of course the Lani with the Kapa and also Wahe Kapala. And yeah, next slide, please. Okay. Yeah, so we mahalo the health center and the community for participating in the cultural practices and supporting the programs, and we hope to set the foundation not for just this generation, but generations that come beyond. So mahalo.
Hi, aloha everyone. I'm Lena Alakanana. Oh, yeah, you can stay there. I am the Director of Community Health Services. And again, like Kaliko said, mahalo for this space, for allowing us to share with you how much we've come and where we plan to go in the next 50 years. So the Community Health Services Department, really the goal of the department is to increase access to care for our community that can either be primary care or other social services. And we do this by providing those non-clinical visits really aimed at enabling our community to come and use the services that we have on campus to improve their overall health. And we do this by providing these much needed services to address those social determinants of our community. We offer case management, care coordination services. You know, at times our patients, especially our kupuna, find themselves overwhelmed or confused with all of their aspects of their medical care, and just adding someone to help coordinate that care and walk them through the process can be helpful. We provide homeless outreach, where about 60% of the homeless population that we serve from Ka'ena to Kalailoa are Native Hawaiian. We also provide services where we assist our community with applications for MedQuest, financial assistance, and SNAP benefits. We provide transportation, medication deliveries along the coast, and when funds are available, we also provide rent, mortgage, and utility assistance. Many times, our medical needs for not only ourselves, but our patients, our community, our beneficiaries, our medical needs are put on the back burner because we have other needs right in front of us, such as how I go and pay for my mortgage, or where can I get in-home medical services to help care for my mom, or how I going to put food on the table. And so our community health services department can help aid in those needs and those immediate services. Next slide. So the proposed adjacent property will include a social services building, and the building will house our current social services in one area and be more accessible to the community and beneficiaries alike. We plan to offer the services you see there on the slide, as well as expand our reach by developing a network of social service providers in the community that can really address the social determinants of our people. And the next slide. You know, we often discuss health using the metaphor of a stream, with upstream factors bringing those downstream effects. And we're making an impact on the downstream and the midstream levels by providing the clinical care you see at the comprehensive, as well as addressing the individual and the social needs. But really, as a community, we really need to look upstream and improve our community conditions. And the presentations that you've heard, that you're hearing now and you've heard prior to this, really can really make an impact on those community conditions. Improvement in our community's health can really be achieved only when we have the commitment to kind of move things forward and look upstream and change the community conditions that make our people sick. And the demands for these social need interventions, they won't stop. They'll just keep coming until the true root cause of these causes are really addressed. So mahalo for your time, mahalo for your ear and your mana'o. Next slide.
Aloha, my name is Alicia Higa, and I'm the Director of Health Promotion for the Wai anae Comprehensive Health Center. I was born and raised in Makaha and have been with the Health Center now for almost 18 years. Today, I'm going to share with you a little bit about the work that we've been doing around food security and a little bit of what we envision for the future. Next slide. The Health Center has been working on food access since around 2008 with the opening of our first farmers market in partnership with the Hawaii Farm Bureau. We were the first on the island of Oahu to accept SNAP at a farmers market and have since opened several locations. In response to the high level of food insecurity in our community, we also developed several programs to help provide further access to fresh local food, including a SNAP doubling program that we actually started back in 2013, which led the way and served as a template for the statewide SNAP doubling program we have today. We have over 4 years of experience in research on providing good food as medicine through 3 produce prescription programs. 63% of our adult participants are Native Hawaiian, and another 72% of our Native Hawaiian keiki in the program are Native Hawaiian. We also offer a food subscription that is to serve our Alice households that do not qualify for any type of assistance, which helps to provide access to good food straight from our farmers and local food producers at our markets. All of these programs are designed to provide access to fresh, local whole foods and cultural foods that are really hard to get for some of our community members. We've sponsored community wellness events and healthy wellness workshops for community to further encourage healthy habits for our community members. Prior to the pandemic, our community reported a 38% food insecurity rate. And that number has tremendously risen as a result of the pandemic and inflation. Since the onset of the pandemic, our department and our health center have distributed close to 6.2 million pounds of food, and not just food, but good food. And I've seen several people on this call today, some even presenting, that have worked so hard alongside of us at some of our food distributions and pantries. We operated large-scale food distribution, serving up to 2,200 households a month. Currently operating 8 school pantries on our leeward coast that serve 1,800 keiki weekly, and 5 kupuna pantries that serve 740 kupuna, of which 55% are Native Hawaiian. We've been working on building out an emergency feeding plan for our community and have partnered with Chad Buck, the owner of Hawaii Food Service Alliance, to bring our coast the first pre-recovery pod that will house 140,000 meals when it's filled. And this is for times of natural disaster when our community is blocked off. Next slide. Sorry, I skipped ahead. You can skip to the next slide. That's our emergency feeding plan, but more importantly, I wanted to share the future of our programming. And so part of the future for us is to build out a food systems campus that will meet the needs of our community to strengthen our food security. The food systems campus that has been proposed would include edible landscaping that will focus on cultural foods that are hard to access currently, in addition to greenhouse space and really taking a look at that seed to distribution concept of growing our own food and getting that good food out to our community. It would include covered lanai area for agricultural workshops so we can teach community how to grow their own food and even space to grow their own food. It would also look to work with Hawaii Food Bank to build out a food warehouse that will meet the needs of our community, because every day seems to have been an emergency since the pandemic. And we know that there's no emergency food storage on our coast. So when we do get blocked off, there's no food being stored. We would also like to see a healthy food pantry with dietitian-led patient shopping experiences. And I think the thing I'm most excited for is a certified classroom kitchen with incubator space for our local entrepreneurs to bring their products to market. Thank you today for this opportunity to share.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're really grateful for this opportunity. The development of our site, our proposed activities will be a partnership with multiple funding sources and networks. And we hope to build more partnerships in funding for the construction of buildings to implement all the programs. We hope that over the past 50 years that we've been able to touch beneficiaries on this call, as well as your families, your extended families, who may or may not be beneficiaries, through one or more of our services, either as a patient, through outreach, through training programs or scholarships or food distributions, community events, and more. We are committed to be responsible caretakers of your Department of Hawaiian Homelands. We really appreciate this opportunity and are open to questions. And I'd like to just invite, we have resources on the call also that could help answer questions. Dan Gomes is on our board of directors. Nalani Benioni is with our Native Hawaiian Healing Center. And John Griego is our architect that has worked with us on all these plans. So we welcome any questions. Mahalo.
Mahalo, Wai anae, Comprehensive Health Center, for your excellent presentation. I see a hand up from Johnny.
Thank you for your presentation. You know, along the coast, the beach area, there's a lot of homeless and more mental health illness. The type of services that come into Wai anae is very alarming. And I can't see Wai anae being used another 50 years with mental illness and homeless. And I often say Wai anae is not the capital of homeless. And you seem to not be 100% sustainable on your own, because you go to the legislature every year for funding, and the senator is a big supporter of Wai anae Camp. At some point, you guys need to fend for yourself and outreach, go to the beach and outreach to the families you know, if you don't have homeless or mental illness or all this kind of type of services, you guys be out of business. So I don't really feel that you guys are there to really turn their life around 100%. It seems that this coast is getting worse and worse, younger and younger. Okay, where's the education about alcohol? Where's the education about vaping? Where's the alcohol about tobacco use? Where's the education of nicotine? I don't see that you guys are doing a good job because I see them at the beach is just getting worse and younger. Thank you. And I don't want to see another 50 years of mental illness and homeless in this community. Many of you who get top dollars probably don't live in this community. Okay, I born and raised here, born and raised. And that's my concern.
Mahalo, Johnny May. Yeah, we don't like the growth and of the homeless either. But we've been providing the homeless services for a long time. Lena just talked about that. Kaliko is a psychologist, so he deals with the substance abuse and the mental health. We do go for funding, but we also get reimbursement for the services that we provide. We're like any other nonprofit in going to seek services either from the legislature, private foundations. For our buildings, it's always going up for grants to support. And that's just the nature of the health center and how we've grown all these years. We're proud of our services. We wish we could address fully and get a handle on the health needs of the community. But I think we need to continue. We've done great. And we'll continue to work at addressing all the problems. I know if Lena or Alicia, Kaliko, anything
We
to
have other
add?
questions that have come in. So, Lori Buchanan wanted to say that the EBT SNAP doubling and WIC is an excellent program and great work. Wai anae. Charlotte wanted to say aloha mahalo. She has two questions. One, will the Native Hawaiian Health Center completely open up again? And two, when will a fully integrated approach to health and healing for our people that you all have touched upon, that is an appropriate blending of native healing with more la'aulapa'au and opportunities to reduce and eliminate prescription and Western medicine? I know it cannot all be it cannot be all the time at some cases, as some cases are more severe, but in other cases, making more successes in weaning our people off Western medicines could be possible.
Nalani, Benioni, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm at a small laptop. Thank you so much for that question. I'm going to focus on the Center for Traditional Native Hawaiian Healing. Yes, we are closed. We have been a victim of the pandemic. We have put into place protocols so that we can reopen specifically for the two areas that are in demand, Ho'oponopono and the Aulapa'au. Yes, we're very, very knowledgeable, not knowledgeable. We know that those are the requests for services. We are opening. I cannot give you a date at this time. Our healing center is a little different than other Native Hawaiian healing centers. We are connected to probably one of the largest nonprofit community health centers, well, definitely in the state and maybe in the whole nation. And so we have to follow all kinds of different protocols and legal issues. And that's where we are right now, trying to reopen. We are, we have not closed up our services. We still do provide services on a case-by-case basis. We understand that. I kind of cringe when the thinking is to get away from Western medicine, mainly because traditional Native Hawaiian healing, please understand that we don't talk about cure. we talk about what native la'au can we use to help our people feel better, get better. That's basically what we do. We have learned with COVID, there are so many people that came to us for a cure for COVID. They had heard that there's this one traditional healing center in this island or this island, and they found a cure for COVID. That's what I do at the center. I do all the research. I vet everything that comes through when people say, oh yeah, this is good for, and I'm the one that does the research on the la'au. And I wish we had a cure for COVID. We don't have a cure, but we have great vaccines. You know, I'm a walking example of being a kupuna that has been able to dodge the bullet on COVID many, many times. We're here to serve. The center will open when we don't know yet. Hopefully, you know, every month I tell myself it's going to be this month, but we just have different hurdles to jump through. And you know, there was a comment about the funding that comes to the Wai anae comp. Well, you know, that funding also comes to the center. And there's a lot of work that goes, many people that go out and write the grants so that the Wai anae Coast Comprehensive Health Center will continue to function. We are nonprofit. And folks, I don't know about you, and I don't know how many of you go to the Wai anae comp, but I have never been to a health center. If you cannot afford to pay, they will see you anyway. You know, that's never the issue. If you can't afford to pay, you're not going to get services. So thanks to our board of directors, and one of our board representatives is here. That has been the goal of the health center from its creation 50 years ago, and it still stands. You know, I've never worked, you know, I'm old, you know, I'm kupuna. I've never worked in an organization anywhere that is so dedicated to this community. And all the things that we're talking about, all, you know, the proposals for the improvements are to benefit this community. I function and work with kupuna. That is my number one. And you know, everyone's talking about, you know, we have homeless on the beach. That we have kupuna folks that without the services that they're getting from the Wai anae Coast Comprehensive Health Center, not only medical services, as Alicia has talked about, and Lena has talked about, you know, the services, social services that they get. Without that, our kupuna would be in very dire straits. And I testify to that because I work on a daily basis with kupuna. So all the efforts of the Wai anae Coast Comprehensive Center, let me tell you, there's not $1 wasted there. It's probably one of the most streamlined, economical nonprofits I've ever worked in. So I don't know if I answered your question or what the question was, or if I'm rambling, but I'm very passionate about the work that we do there as a member of the Kupuna Council and in the center. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate to talk to me directly or email me, and I'll be, you know, willing to work with all of you. So thank you.
Hi, this is Alicia. I real quick wanted to address Johnny May's comments regarding tobacco cessation. And I just wanted to share that, you know, another hat that I wear at the health center is overseeing the tobacco cessation program, which is a free program. Whether you're a patient of our health center or not, it is a grant funded program that offers free nicotine replacements and counseling. So that is available to anyone. And if you would like more information on that, I'm happy to share it. But also, regarding the grants and the funding that we do bring in, we're very intentional with our spending. I know for the food access portion, whatever monies that I get in, we make sure that it touches as many people as it can in the community, not just as far as distributing and getting food to people in need, but also supporting the local farmers in our Wai anae community and the local culinary programs and the local businesses who we purchase the food for these distributions. And so from January to now, every dollar that we've gotten in, it's close to $1.1 million of that has gone straight into our Wai anae local food system.
I also wanted to address Johnny May's concerns regarding our homeless and our mental health. Yep, I am also a resident of Wai anae and I see it as well. I do want to mention though that it is a lot of work to work with our mental health population and those experiencing homelessness. it's not always a cookie cutter, one-stop shop kind of response. Sometimes it takes time, and it takes a team, and it takes a whole support effort to move our people from either the beach, the park, their home, wherever they're living, into a sustainable home or into a shelter. And sometimes we're faced with our community members who don't want to make that move. And we as service providers really need to meet our community where they're at. Whether we like it or not, we need to listen to the autonomy of our community and autonomy of our people, and listen to them, and like I said, meet them where they're at. So we're not a one-stop shop, and I do believe in the network and the collaboration of other service providers as well along the coast, who we work really closely with, and also Kaliko and our behavioral health department as well.
Okay, Kapua says she appreciates the comprehensive health care center and all the training and services you provide to our community. But what do you provide for the Hawaiian Homes Commission beneficiaries specifically? Or what do you provide that is above and beyond the community benefits, especially for our low to moderate income beneficiaries, wherever they are, in homes or in yards and homes, in vehicles, parks, beaches, etc. Is the comprehensive able to provide free medical to those beneficiaries that don't have income? I'm a supporter of the comprehensive, but believe our beneficiaries deserve more than our beloved Wai anae community. So what are you doing specifically for low income beneficiaries, Hawaiian Homelands beneficiaries?
So in terms of medical insurance or free medical, the state does have the state MedQuest program, where we are able to assist beneficiaries, community, our patients alike, to apply for that program for medical insurance. Is that what you were talking about, Auntie Kapua?
Well, I love you guys, what you guys do, but to me, when we're referring to our lands, how is the beneficiary being treated differently from the general community? So is there like rates? Because I did hear Nalani say that you guys don't provide free services, and if we can get the state or someone else to cough up the bill, excellent. But we do have some beneficiaries that meet the Hawaiian Homes Act. They meet that criteria. So if they need that help, are you folks able to provide them the services, whether it be, mental health or some training on
Auntie Kapua, I'll just give you one little example. As I said, I work with the kupuna in our community, and we just finished a series of computer training for kupuna that we developed just for kupuna. Our kupuna came from Nanakuli Homestead and from Wai anae Kai Homestead and from Princess Kahanu Homestead. That's where our participants in this program came from. And it was free to them. We bussed them in, we fed them. Alicia and Lena and Joyce O'Brien and Kaliko. It was a concerted effort of several programs at the Wai anae Comp. We trained over 75 kupuna. Most of them had never touched a computer, or they had and they were frightened of it. And our goal was, at the end of the training, it was a 3-day, a 3-hour training, 3 separate sessions. Most came every day because they enjoyed it. Our goal was that they would be able to get on a Zoom call like this. Now, if you can imagine, when they first walked in, most of our kupuna were afraid. They looked at and we provided laptop computers for them that they were able to keep when it was POW at no cost to them, and also got them discounted internet for their homes. But when they finished the training, the last thing was, okay, we're going to do a Zoom call. And we had 30 something, Lena, yeah, you were there, kupuna in this room, all on Zoom, and it was noisy. They were all yelling and screaming and calling each other on Zoom because they were so excited that they finally learned what Zoom was. They'd heard about it. An offshoot of this, we now have something called Kupuna U meaning university. So all of the kupuna that came through our program now have access on their laptops to this resource of training developed for kupuna. Things like, how do you keep your security updated? How do you update your computer? How do you get telehealth, etc. So that's just one of the little programs that we've done for beneficiaries. There's a great demand, and we're ready to start another group of kupuna because there's so many that want to come to it. And the first group, we did look at beneficiaries, so mainly Nanakuli, Wai anae, and Princess Kahanu. So I think I don't think we had any from Wai anae Valley, but guess what? As we look at the participants for this next group, we're going to reach out to others as well. We will focus on beneficiaries. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, sure.
Sorry, I was gonna
Go ahead.
Kapua, did that answer your question?
Yes, it did, Nalani,
Okay.
thank you so much. I knew that you folks were doing things out there. It's just, can't catch it all. Especially appreciative when Alicia brought her folks in during COVID. 5 days a week, we were blessed. It started off with 1 day a week, and we got 5 days a week for over a year. So that's the type of services and targeting services to our beneficiaries that I refer to. So I totally appreciate what you're doing for our kupuna, doing for our community, doing for us. Mahalo nui.
Okay, and then I see Johnny May's hand up. We're gonna go to her next, and we're gonna go to the chat. So Julie can go back to the chat after Johnny, and then Valerie, I see your hand up. So we'll get to you in that order. So go ahead, Johnny May.
Thank you so much. You mentioned about tobacco. So since you guys have the on Saturday, Wai anae Mall, present some of those educational information. Okay, so when you say Native Hawaiians, so to be on the HHL list, you have to be 50% Hawaiians or more. So not because they look like Hawaiians that they qualify and they're on the wait list. Okay, so Kapo brought up a good point. Even though we all look like Hawaiians, but if we're not on the list, then you cannot claim us as Hawaiians if we're not beneficiaries and we're not on the list. And you guys got to do better, to take a survey of you guys' services. Okay, this year you guys started high. You guys numbers should be going down to improve this community. You guys not improving the community. It's getting worse because you guys want job protection. Thanks.
Okay, mahalo for your comments. Julie,
Yeah.
if you can go to the chat.
So Troy is saying Kaliko as as the one in the Ha'ola Paz space. Can we kuka because I do have a number of questions that are in your real well, according to your schedule. She'd like to meet with you. She has her contact information down.
Okay.
And she has another question. She said, I saw on services the ACP and Spectrum 100 program plan. Is this a specific company promotion for cable internet company Spectrum?
No, it's not a promotion for a specific company. It depends on what the caller or the community member is calling in with and what company they're with. And then we help them apply through the ACP program.
See. Okay, and Kapua is saying, yeah, she after you folks explained this, she's saying that's exactly what I'm talking about. Nalani, so awesome. Okay, at least, okay, sure, I got it. That's all in the chat.
Okay, mahalo, Julie. Valerie, you can unmute yourself.
Okay, mahalo everybody again. I'm mainly here because I've had the opportunity to experience a lot of the good, and it's good that we're hearing all aspects of what everybody in the community hears or feels about the Wai anae Coast Comprehensive I'm a school teacher, and so many of my experiences with the Waianae Coast Comprehensive comes from being a teacher on the coast. I've brought many students up to the Waianae Coast Comprehensive Center for field trips there, where the students, so educating our children is important, educating them about health. And so maybe they will get up onto a path of good health and nutrition, making those positive choices so that when they become adults, they will be in a better place for themselves and their family, and then maybe be the ones to take care and help the community. So we've had many field trips up at the Comprehensive Center where students can learn about the center and can be part of what the center has become. I think the center also had the mini doc program. I'm trying to remember, which brought in future doctors into the school. And I know it may seem like a one-sided thing, but it brought in health and nutrition lessons for the students that hopefully they would take back to their families to learn more about and make healthier choices. I've also seen the food pantries at the schools so that families can pick up food to take home to their families. And then Waianae Comprehensive offering COVID testing at the schools too. As a community member, I've had the opportunity to help with food distribution with Alicia and in this past December. And then being a recipient of COVID home testing when they did their distribution in January. I just want to say that when I drive from Nanakuli towards the Waianae Comprehensive, it's a beautiful, spectacular view where I think their buildings have actually fade into the surroundings so that it's, if I can just say, not an eyesore, but a pleasant building and structure to look at. So when I drive from Nanakuli towards Wai anae Comprehension, and I can see their buildings on that small little hill, I actually feel happy that as a Hawaiian community, we've come together to provide services for our families, to teach them preventative medicines to be healthy, and also provide a beautiful place for our people to be in, to become not only healthy in their medical sense, but also healthy in their well-being. So I just want to mahalo the Waianae Comprehensive people, all that work there, and especially the people that's on this call that I've had the opportunity to work with. Thank you.
Mahalo.
Sorry, I was on mute. Mahalo for that comment, Valerie. Commissioner Taruya, you had your hand up.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know we're going to be closing, but thank you, Val, for saying that. How are you? I just wanted to add that I am a resident and I do use the Waianae Comp, my family and I, for many, many years. And to say that they're not doing their job or they're not, I think it's real. It's not a very good statement. They have provided a lot of opportunities in our community. I've worked with Alicia Higa on Food Bank, food sustainability, to the whole COVID, 2-year COVID shutdown, working with the Waianae Comp, and to provide these services as a community leader, working with the comprehensive. I think that network was just tremendous for our community. I also use the tobacco program, and I quit smoking for such a long time, many, many years. That also helped me too. But Kaliko, the behavior department in that area, I had to use a behavior program there. When I lost my son, I'm just like a normal resident, and I used the comp, and they had a very good, helpful behavior program that helped me get through the grief. And so the services that me and my family obtained from the Waianae Comp, it was real personal because we live there, we know the people that work there. So there's a very good, strong connection. You feel very included and wanted, and they know your name, and they call you auntie when they see you. And so, it's very rewarding to see their vision to provide these and expand their community services and programs to the Waianae Moku. I think it's a great opportunity to see this in our coast. You don't see this in other areas that I've, see in Oahu. So, I thank them for their makeke market that they provide, the vegetables that we shop. I also use that services a lot. It's a discount. You have coupons. And then it's a gathering place where they bring the community together with no division. I think it's very important for all of us that when we live on the Waianae Coast that we break this division, use their services, and they provide this services from Nanakuli to Makaha. So I just wanted to make that statement, share my mana'o as a resident and a beneficiary that I'm grateful that they're there, their services there. They have improved. I saw, many years going to the comp, they have escalated to service, good service, and they provide these services. The young generations that work there, the girls are awesome. They call me auntie. I'm glad they don't call me kupuna, not yet, but they make you feel warm when you go there. Auntie, how are you? How are you feeling? And so, I feel welcome. And that's a very good sign. So, I am really truly blessed to see that they're expanding their services to the Waianae Coast. They have taught, they went out of the box. They went to the homeless areas. I've worked with several of them with the service providers when we work together in a community on the homeless situations. And they're there for the community. So, I just wanted to make mention that and thank them and thank the staff for the employment that they provide to our generations to come. And so thank you so much for this opportunity this evening to be here and to share and to be together, work together for Waianae Coast as one, as whether as a beneficiary or not, we're all just one community, 96792. So thank you for the staff and Andrew and everyone for being here tonight. Mahalo nui.
Mahalo.
Mahalo,
Lori
Commissioner.
said she agrees that the Waianae Comp is a very aesthetically beautiful facility. Ka'ala Farm is saying we at Ka'ala Farm work very closely with the Waianae Coast Comprehensive and fully support their efforts in the Waianae community. And Ipo Akiona would like to make a statement.
Okay, we'll take Ipo's statement and then we'll go to Jan and then we'll go to Kapua.
Thank you. It'll be a short one. Thank you everyone for sharing. I too am a hard worker for the Waianae Coast. I actually work for the Department of Human Services, SNAP and EBT services for 35 plus years. And I see the endeavors of Waianae Comp, working with them hand in hand every day. Wilena Ala, Alicia, and some other workers, they really bust their okole. I have to say that. Ka'ala Farms, top notch. Always flourishing in the culture and cultivating of the Hawaiian culture in any way that they can. Awesome. I just wanted to share with all of us that why I came on this meeting was I heard about the solar farms here, solar farms there, needing renewable. I get it. I love it. But my heart ached when I was going up North South Road, and I didn't want to see that in Waianae. So I honor all of your endeavors, and when we're all moving forward as a community, just keep the community intact. Mana'o the land, malama the land, and I commend every single entity that is asking for the use of land and why. And best of luck to everyone. Aloha.
Mahalo, Ipo.
Kapua
Jan.
has actually made his final statement too. Sorry, go ahead.
Jan was first, I think.
Sorry.
Aloha. I just wanted to make a comment about the Waianae Coast Comprehensive. I just wanted to say mahalo because we see you. We see you folks out there doing the food distributions. We see you folks out there with the health services. We see you folks out there with the outreach and social programs. We see you folks out there in our homeless community, pounding the pavement, getting all of, being out there, talking to them, getting them the help that they need. getting information that will help them along. So, we see that and we appreciate that. It is a concern to see more homeless tents popping up along our coast. But, we don't have an answer. We don't truly have successful programs, but there are programs available for our community. It may not be fixing the problem, but it is a dedication in helping when and where you folks can. So we do see that, and we do mahalo you for all of that. And for how you folks malama everybody in our community, being that we are the moku, we all know it. Everybody that's here on the coast, we all know it, that we are the moku that has the highest concentration of Hawaiians, regardless of whether or not you are a 50% or a 25% or 100%er. We are all Hawaiians and we have the highest percentage just in our moku alone. And so, I hate to think of where our community would be without you folks. And the services that you folks provide, you folks have stepped up and stepped out when we needed you folks the most. And, looking at the plans that you folks have offered, I can get excited for you guys and the future plans that you folks have for our community. So mahalo, mahalo, mahalo.
Kupu agrees with Commissioner Teruya that the comprehensive is an extension of our ohana as they care for us and all those in need. So mahalo to the comprehensive board and staff. Let's see, Jamie is saying, and situations arise every day. So may have new houseless, also transients.
Okay. We are coming up on the 9 o'clock hour. So I appreciate you folks sticking with us through these last 2 hours. I just wanted to take a couple, just wanted to real quickly go over the next steps in our beneficiary consultation process and the overall process for these land use requests. So our beneficiary consultation policy calls for a 30-day comment period after the meeting is held. So the comment period will be from today's date to December 13th. So for those of you who are on the call who would like to make additional comments, or if you're like, oh, I should have said that, or I had this question, over the course of the next 30 days, you have the opportunity to provide additional questions or comments. You can email those comments to the email address on the screen right now. Julie, if you don't mind typing that into the chat. So it's dhhl.planning@hawaii.gov. Also, for those of you who know of people who wanted to attend this evening but were unable to, this meeting video and the presentations will be posted on the DHHL website, the same webpage that you used to join the Zoom meeting this evening. So the meeting video will be posted there. After the 30-day comment period, the department will take a consultation report to the commission based off the comments that we received during the this meeting, as well as over the next 30 days. We will also be working individually with each of the requesters on their request and take their request, which will be different for the different organizations, to the commission. Tentatively, the plan is to take it to commission December 19th and 20th.
So to clarify, the deadline for comments is December 13th?
Yeah, thank you for emphasizing that. Yeah,
I just typed the wrong December 13th, okay?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so thank you, Julie. The comment deadline will be December 13th. And then I'd just like to ask Chair Ayla if he wanted to say anything in closing.
Yes, thank you, Andrew. I want to thank all the applicants for the different land uses, land use requests that they're putting forward, all of the hard work that went into that. I want to thank staff for working really, really hard at getting this together. And then I want to thank the folks who attended to share their mana'o and share their questions and share their concerns. That is the process, and that's how it should work. Coming from this community, I'm very proud of everyone and how they refer to the community. And I'm glad to see that still the same way after at least my 64 years on Earth. And I hope it'll continue to be the same way for the next 64 years. So thank you to everybody. Good night. Be safe.
Aloha, everyone.
Right.
Aloha.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mahalo.
Hello.
Thank you, Andrew. Good night, everyone. Aloha.
Good night,
Good night.
Commissioner.
Good night.